Hello everyone, my name is Ricky. I am a sufferer from ASD and ADHD. I'm 33 years old. I wanted to do this video to essentially tell you what I'm going through right now, and it's just a way to sort of like get it out there, like, due to the mental health, and just give like a little bit of a backstory on where I am now and what I used to be. So I guess a good place to start is I've hit a roadblock in life. It started the end of last week. It was essentially coming to the realization about death, and just the whole aspect of realizing that there is no control over it, there's no escape from it. People around me, all of my loved ones, the people I really care about, they won't be here forever. And then just the whole, then me per se, just like, me not being around, and this left me in a really dark place, because just before this I felt really confident. I was dealing with anxiety for most of my life. That might be also a link to the autism. And before all of this, I was actually at a very good standpoint. I felt really confident. I was going out a lot more. Things didn't bother me so much. I felt strong, unbreakable, and I had this realization that's popped up, and it's essentially, it feels like it undone all of that hard work that I did. But I have to say, during this time, I'm still not over this. I'm still dealing with this realization. I'm still, unfortunately, getting a lack of sleep. I'm waking up every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, just really depressed. That will obviously be to do with the hormone cortisol in the body. I've been doing a lot of research on these specific subjects, and this is normal for what I'm feeling. It's something our bodies naturally do once we experience something that affects us deeply. It essentially makes our nervous system very sensitive, and obviously this has made my nervous system hit its limit up. So I've gone past a certain threshold, and eventually, hopefully, this will come down. Not hopefully, it will come down. It will come down. Hopefully I will be able to get a decent night's sleep like before. But one thing I definitely would have to say is, although I feel a certain way, some people like to consider it like an awakening, like if you're spiritual, or if you're religious. I am not religious. I was raised basically an atheist. Most of my family are. Um, I do believe, or I do want to believe that, you know, the paranormal is a thing. So I guess you could say spiritually, I do have a little bit of spirituality there. I wanted to make this video to essentially like raise awareness to essentially what I'm going through, and there could be someone listening to this now that are also going through the same situation as I am, and they feel how I feel, or how I felt, which was hopeless, despair, and just like a loss of motivation for life anymore. Now don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that I am suicidal or anything like that, because obviously what the current subject is about, the last thing I want to do is push myself to something that I fear. So it's a tough one. Before all of this, I was very passionate about gaming. I still want to be. It's a bit difficult right now. But then there was also a part of me that was, some would say I might be too invested in it, because I used gaming as an outlet, a means to escape. And what came through that, with that, was, some people would say it probably made me into a certain person, like essentially saying that that's not the real me. I was very angry. I was very competitive. Not to say competitive isn't a good thing. Competitive it can be a good thing. But I definitely say having control over your emotions is definitely something you want to try to achieve. Now don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of fun times playing games with my friends, a lot of really fun situations, a lot of memories. I guess this message is basically to say that if you're struggling right now, whether it be over the same thing or something differently, and it's making you feel the same way, just know the way that you're feeling, you're not broken. You may feel vulnerable, which is how I felt. I felt broken, vulnerable. But something that I'm slowly coming to terms with is that I'm neither of those things, and you're neither of those things. You're just human. You're expressing yourself. And if we didn't have those things, we wouldn't be human. So you going through those things shows you that you're not different. You're not broken. You're human. I was raised pretty much, you know, the old-fashioned way, which was men don't cry, you don't show your feelings, you just power through, and you keep moving forward. Now, in some aspects, that makes sense, but in other aspects, like, say for me, essentially what that did to me. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not me saying that, you know, I'm not trying to badmouth or, you know, badmouth my family and the way that they dealt with things and whatnot. But it wasn't a healthy way to deal with things. I couldn't express myself. To be honest, I could only express myself with anger, frustration, depression. So I definitely think when you're at a younger age, I would definitely say dealing with these things, sort of like being exposed to certain things when you're younger, can be somewhat beneficial for later on in life. Me, myself, I felt like I was very shielded. Which, don't get me wrong, at the time, I thought that was great. Being shielded, I thought it was great. But I've noticed now that later on in life, now when these experiences come up, it's very hard to deal with. It's very intense, and it's definitely made it more harder for me to find the tools and such to cope and to keep on going. Now, this whole conversation might be a bit all over the place, because myself, I have all the information up here, but trying to get the information from up here out of here is a struggle for me. I know what I want to say. I know I want to try and make myself sound somewhat intelligent, but I struggle to get it out of here. So, yeah. Whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through right now, it will get better if you keep going. Find the correct tools. Listen to podcasts, videos. Now you might be thinking, ugh, sit there, listen to podcasts. Believe me, before all of this, if I tried to put a podcast on that was talking about mental health and such, I would instantly turn it off, like within seconds of it, because I'd instantly be like, well, I'm bored. But once you get to that certain point, from when you're dealing with something, like what I did, it made me more open to keeping it playing and listening. And it's definitely helped. I am definitely taking things a bit more easier now than, say, a couple of days ago. Every day is a new experience. Every day is a battle. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't give up. You are worth everything in this life. You deserve everything in this life. I know there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of things that are happening in the world. A lot of these things we have no control over. And as someone who suffers from autism, I have a very big struggle, and most do, with not having control over a situation. And this is where it becomes a bit more difficult for people with autism. Acceptance. As some would say, learning to let go. I still haven't let go yet. I'm still battling. Every day. And each day gets a little bit more easier and a little bit more accepting. And I know it's easier said than done, because I've said that all my life when people have tried to give me help, motivation. I did the same. I was always quick. Sorry about that. Had to get the cats in. So where was I? I think we're talking about letting go. Letting go is something very important. Whether you can accept it and deal with it now, that's a different story. Some people, sometimes it takes longer for some other people, like myself. So I hope that this video gives you somewhat of a little bit of comfort in knowing that things will get better. You will face roadblocks in life to where you'll think you can't handle it, you can't deal with it. But I definitely say you can handle it and you can deal with it. The reason why you think that is because you're allowing that voice in your head. That depression is always trying to fight against you. It's always lying to you. And it's always good to know that don't let that voice fool you into believing what it's telling you. When it's telling you you're worthless. You're a failure. You won't achieve anything. Because that's not actually you. So yeah, I hope this video, you can find somewhat, maybe some comfort in it. Maybe not. But I just wanted to have a chat, give you a little bit of an insight. And maybe you learn something new now. But yeah. So I guess I'll end this video now. And I hope you enjoyed. And if you're going through anything right now, I hope I've helped even just a tiny bit. Then that makes me happy. Because you're worth it.